Hey everyone, guess who's back? It's the commish back here with another preview, and happy to have you all aboard again to look at this week. And we're heading into week 5 here. It's October 6th to October 10th of our lives, and let's just get into it. So first matchup here featured is week 5, best versus worst. Of course, best versus worst in the American division. So we know Josh is retiring, and he's actually 10 points above Billsy Bob's in that survival 0-4 race. The only two teams that are left that are 0-4. I'm sure Bare Naked Ladies would like to go out with a little bit of pride and not be actually finished dead last. The Architect, of course, proving to be one of the better teams yet again, second in points for only one of two teams with over 1,100 points for. Found a way to win last week against No More in a scary scene. You can see the lifetime records there. Brandon has owned Joshua at 3-0 since we've been in the league here. So obviously Brandon's done a pretty good job there. And when I look at the lineups here, it's clear to me who's likely going to win here. And, Brandon's found a way to get points from the Prince of Alaire recently. I know we put on chat Alan Robinson has really been a disappointment, and he really has been for Bare Naked Ladies. And I know this because I traded for him in Dynasty, and he has been dreadful. There's no doubt about that. When I look at the picks here on what the Co has put out here, he has the Architect winning this game, and for myself, I also have the Architect winning this game. So we have the Architect continuing his perfect streak against Bare Naked Ladies. And the only way Bare Naked Ladies is ever going to win is if Justin Fields can do anything. And I just don't think he's going to. So it's going to be Brandon winning again. Let's move forward here to another divisional matchup, Red and White Riot. The Age Crew taking on BC Lions and Stan. I know we've joked a lot about Stan in the past, but he really showed us a lot of things last week, putting up a lot of points, and I don't think he really is as bad as he is. You can see these guys have about the same amount of career games played. The series is tied 1-1, and when I look at this matchup, basically I have the Age Crew winning this one, and when I look at Co's predictions, he has, just give you a moment to find his picks. It's hard to see here. Okay, he has the Age Crew winning this one as well. So obviously both of us thinking the Age Crew is going to win, and I do think the Age Crew is going to win, even though Tua is out for the Age Crew. That's obviously the big news in this matchup. Tua, obviously the devastating, scary head injury last week that everybody saw, which wasn't easy to watch, obviously. I think that part of the reason why Adrian's going to win is he does have Kareem Hunt, Mostert getting most of the snaps there in Miami, oddly enough. And we joked about Stan having Mostert. Mostert could be the guy that could be the difference in this one, to be honest. Who me and Co have. Not going to talk too much further on this one, but I think for these teams, they want to sell. There's potential there to sell near the end, but whether or not that'll make sense will remain to be seen. But a win here would help urge them either into keeping their season going or selling. Next up, week 5, survival time, and we got Billsy Bob's here taking on Bill's Mafia. And why is this one dubbed survival time? Well, Billsy Bob's dead last. That's why. And Bill's Mafia, a team that was widely criticized that was going to be one of the 4 teams this year, has proven otherwise. He's 3-1. When I look at my original picks here, I had Billsy Bob's winning originally here. We'll have to see if I change my pick. Co also had Billsy Bob's winning. Whether or not he would change his pick, I would be determined. But you can see what Billsy Bob's career record looks like, and I'm sure he would love to not get his 60th career loss before his 30th career win. I'm sure that's something that he would love to see. Bill's Mafia right now, if the season ended, would be a playoff team. I'll throw that out there for the Red and White. Looking at the matchup here, Andy Dalton, oddly enough, I dropped him, and then, I thought that's kind of an asshole move to do. He was the difference in Bills Mafia beating me last week. So kind of a catch-22 there. Will Naeem Hines get a lot more snaps on Thursday night? That'll remain to be seen for Bills Mafia. I think with the way the season has gone for Bills Mafia, he probably will. I look at Billsy Bob's team, like I see Terrence Marshall in as a starting wide receiver. It looks like he might be out. I'm just not that confident in Billsy Bob's team anymore. I'm going to change my pick, and I'm sure Cole probably would too. Bills Mafia is going to win this one. He's going to be 4-1. Next up, we got week 5. Who is shitty? I mean, we never know who this guy is. He's 2-2. And let's face it, Cole predicted him to lose every game. So I'm not even going to look to see what he had for winning this one. I actually had originally shitty to win this one as part of my original picks, and I'm going to stick with it, to be honest. I know Eric, 30-14, what a record coming into this league. But shitty hasn't been too bad either. 46-37, chasing 50 for career wins. Eric is 3-1 lifetime in this matchup. Again, if the season ended today, Sueño would definitely be in the playoff spot. Lamar Jackson, let's face it, I'm excited for that Sunday night primetime matchup. Burrow, Lamar, I think they're going to light it up. Maybe not, because it is an AFC North battle, but likely could probably see a game like 34-31 at least. And if that's the case, Lamar's going to put up a lot of points for Sueño. But I'm going to stick with my original prediction of shitty, because really the news went in his favor when Javonte Williams got hurt. Melvin Gordon will get the bulk of the carries, they say. If the fumbles continue, obviously he won't. But, the thing is, Russell Wilson played with him, I believe. So, you got to keep Russell happy, just as Seattle fans. So Gordon's definitely going to get the snaps there. And I think that will contribute to being the difference. And hopefully Michael Thomas's return next week. And let's face it, Deebo Samuel, this guy is electric. And hopefully he puts up, points like he did this past week for shitty in this one. Next up, week 5, original owner battle. Milan and my brother, these guys have been here since the beginning. Milan 3-1, looking for his 60th career win, would be quite the milestone for Milan. You can see Brian's trending definitely a lot faster to his 50th career loss. And the lifetime matchup here is 4-2. If the season ended today, there's no doubt about it, Milan would be looking at, definitely making the playoffs here. And I think he would likely be a dangerous team in the playoffs. I think this matchup is going to be a beauty. I think it very well could have been game of the week. I'm interested to see how Rodgers does in London against the Giants. Pretty nice matchup for Rodgers there to put up a lot of points, but Brady, playing Atlanta as well for first place in the NFC South there next week. That's going to be an interesting game. I think Brady and the Buccaneers, though, are going to want to make a statement in that one. I'm curious to see who Cole and I originally picked here. I got the 6 winning as part of my original predictions, and Cole had the 6 winning as well. And there's got to be reasons why we went with Cole, Milan. When I look at it, though, Milan's got some question marks there with Isaiah McKenzie, whether or not he will be available. Ezekiel Elliott, is that role going to continue? Is he going to have a prominent role? There are questions there. But again, on Brian's side, Gabe Davis has been a big disappointment. And, Kenneth Walker still hasn't really carved out a role there, especially when you got Rashad Penny putting up over $150. The pleasant surprise, obviously, last week for Brian was Josh Jacobs. It's going to be a great matchup, but I still think the 6 is the better team here, and Brian's going to fall to 1-4. Next up, week 5. Here's one. Could Cole drop? I just had to throw this one in there at Cole. He is staring a 1-4 season in the face here, though, and no more coming in. Widely criticized that he wasn't going to do well. He's 2-2. Really went to bat against the Architect. Architect's guys just did well in prime time. You could see Cole is trending towards his 60th career loss, and I'm sure Chris and no more would love to be the guy that hands career loss number 60 to Cole. Looking at the predictions here, I originally had, just give me one moment here, I'll find it. I had No More winning this one. And Co originally had himself winning this one. I'm going to stick with No More here, and here's why. I think Matty Ice will struggle in Denver. Again, I said that arm's dead. It's the Thursday nighter. We've seen the other Thursday nighters with elite quarterbacks like Herbert going in, and how low scoring those games really were. They were really dreadful. I have a feeling that trend's going to continue. I mean, if it changes, then Vegas made the call, I think. But Matty Ice, his arm is dead, and Russell Wilson definitely hasn't been a pleasant surprise either. That could be an awful game where you got Joe Burrow on the other side for No More, and what I think it'll be an electric game for first place in the AFC North, with heading into Baltimore. And I think that game's definitely going to have a lot to it. JT, is he going to be available for Fallen Misfits? I don't think he's going to be this week, and I think that's going to be a big part of the difference. And that's why I got No More winning this one. Olave had a little bit of a coming out party. Jahan Dotson, from what I understand, will be out 1-2 for Co. The bad news just continues for Co. C-Mac's been fairly ineffective. JT's been a big disappointment. And, I think also Kittle hasn't done much for No More this year. I think he's going to have a decent game in Carolina, and No More's winning this one, and Co is falling to 1-4. Next up, we got week 5 Maple Leaf battle, and 2 original owners, Krista and Storm, Lucas and Green Lightning, both the 2-2. This is a big game for both. In the division, you can see this is the 11th meeting between these two teams. What a history. Krista's own it. A touchdown to a field goal right now in the career matchup. You can see the career records. Obviously, Krista's been a pretty solid team throughout her career. But right now, if the playoff or if the season ended, both these teams would be on the outside looking in, with Lucas being the 9th seed right now. So this one's obviously a lot on the line. Looking at who Co originally picked this one to win this one, he went with Green Lightning to pick to win this one. I also am going with Green Lightning, and I'm going to stick with it. And here's why. Does Storm make the move to Gino a week too late? I think he struggles in New Orleans potentially. Who knows? I could be wrong. But I love what Gino's done, because I'm not a big fan of Russell Wilson either. But is that going to be a week too late? I think Herbert, let's face it, Cleveland, they're awful. They're awful every year. They find ways to lose. They're definitely going to lose probably to Herbert. I can't see them finding a way to win. Even though they said Melvin Gordon is going to be the workhorse, I think Mike Boone will have a role for Green Lightning. He will get some points, might not put up double digits, but 7, 8 in a flat, in a an RB3 slot or 2 slot for Lucas might be pretty solid. Looking at the wide receivers as well, it's pretty close. Jacoby Myers has had trouble staying healthy, though, for Krista. And I think really what it comes down to, can Keenan Allen get back in there? If Keenan Allen can get back in there for Lucas, he's definitely winning this one. I think he's got better flex guys, like Tyler Boyd's better than Traquan Smith, Justin Watson, guys of that nature. And, I know for Lucas, he also has pretty solid defense. Hufanga has been a pleasant surprise for him. That great pick 6 there that had the crowd rocking there on Monday night. I'm sticking with Lucas in this one. This is going to be a good battle. I'm sure Lucas would love to get a win on his buckle there as part of the career matchup to try to make up ground there. Next up, week 5, big test for both. This one's literally probably could have been game of the week too. Sabatica Spartans 3-1. Very dangerous. One of the 4 teams with over 1,000 points, always dangerous every year. The question is, will teams like Dushan or Eric actually buy and go all in to win one? We've definitely not seen either owner do so, and I can get why. But sometimes when you see these guys buy in a championship, kind of like the Yankees in baseball for many years there, it can be done. You can see Ryan and Deuce Bombers 2-2. Obviously, bitter disappointment. I'm not even going to go on to who we originally picked, because Co and I both had Deuce Bombers going undefeated this year, and obviously that's been a huge disappointment. You can see the career record pretty solid for Ryan, second best win percentage career lifetime. He is 2-1 in the years that Subotica Spartans has been here. And it's going to be a great matchup. I am going to stick with Deuce Bombers to win this one. Obviously, DeAndre Swift's health and Bateman's health are going to play major factors into whether or not he will win. If those guys can't go again until DeAndre Hopkins can come back from his suspension, and that's going to be a much welcomed, I'm sure, with open arms for Deuce Bombers, bringing back DeAndre Hopkins when that does happen. I think he's going to face some challenges. And, on Subotica Spartans side, obviously Algier is going to get some snaps there with Cordero getting hurt. Jalen Hurts, you guys know how I feel about him. I got the man crush on him in the off season. And I was literally considering trying to trade Josh Allen to get him at 10 in the draft, but Subotica Spartans got him. It's going to be a great matchup to watch, and it's going to be one that I think everyone's going to have their eye on. But I'll stick with Deuce Bombers. Next up, week 5, second in career wins on the line. Look at those career records. Myself and Chris, who I highly respect, 66 and 45. Here's a couple of things that Chris has accomplished since he's been in this league. The perfect regular season. Unfortunately, didn't translate it into the title. He has won a title, and to me, it was one of the most important titles in the LOC because he beat Longyard when Longyard really kind of, bent the rules, or not really, just found loopholes, so to speak, as Brandon would say, and he built a really good team. But True North found a way to win. I was so glad to have his name on that plaque as a great winner of the LOC. You can see the lifetime matchup here. I've owned Chris, though, 4-1. But I have a funny feeling that that's not going to be the case this time around. Looking at who I originally predicted, I had myself losing this one. I had myself going 3-2 at this point in the year, so it's not against where I saw myself at the beginning of the year. Co also has True North winning this one, and in all honesty, I don't see any reason to change that prediction. I think True North, even though he's going to have to use his great running back core to the max because of injuries. Jamal Williams is in there and put up 31, I think it was last week. Kirk Cousins is going to get more points with the new coaching staff there. Josh Allen really didn't have a great effort last week, and he's really going to have to rebound against Pittsburgh. I think he could. I think this one could be closer than it looks to be against True North. And you know what? If I could find a way to upset True North here, I might change I might change my view on selling, but I have a feeling I'm going to lose this one. Gauge where I'm at the deadline, make some decisions. But, Cooper Kupp, CeeDee Lamb, that combo, and even having Devontae Smith as your top 3 wide receivers, those guys are just so much better than what I got with Marvin Jones, Valdez-Scantling, and George Pickens. We all can see that, and that's the decisive advantage for True North. I see a 5-0 record in his future. All right, game of the week, and going with a couple of 2-2 teams, and 2 teams that would definitely be in the hunt for the playoff spot. The thing is, Young Wolf would capture one of those final 2 spots if the season ended today. In fact, he would get a final spot, and he'd be staring at True North, I believe, in the face right now in the playoffs. You can see chasing 70 for Susie. Quite a feat, you guys. I mean, if she can get her 70th career win, 70 and 42 in the entire lifetime of the LOC, you can say all you want. There's been different owners here and there, but like I outlined in the chat, there's about 10 of us here that really have been here since the beginning. So unless you're going to call those 10 owners bums, I don't think you can. So obviously those 10 owners were in the LOC throughout this, and for Susie to be that close is pretty phenomenal. Looking at who Co originally picked to win this one, he has Fighting Geese winning this one, and myself, I have Fighting Geese, oddly enough, to lose this one originally, and I'm curious to see why. And looking at it, I am gonna stick with Young Wolf in my predictions here. The reason why is I think Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts are going to put on a show in the afternoon for Arizona, Philly. 2 young quarterbacks, 2 mobile quarterbacks. I think these guys really will put on that show where Goff, I think, will get tightened up in New England at Gillette for Susie. And I think that definitely will be an advantage in the quarterback battle. I think Susie has a slight advantage in the running back battle just because of Pollard and the way Penny put up a $150. Looking at the wide receivers again, Justin Jefferson, if he can go off, which I think he kind of will go off a little bit against Chicago, he'll definitely make some waves. But, for Susie, it's Lat Murray. Yeah, he was great last week, but is he going to have a role in Denver there right away? I just don't see it. She has Tony in the lineup right now. He's done nothing. And when I look at her bench players, they've been pretty disappointing as well with guys like Westbrook, Akini, and Hooper. Those guys have all disappointed in accordance to the preseason hype. But it's going to be a great matchup. I am going to stick with I don't know if you call it an upset, because remember, Young Wolf's also got Devontae Adams, and I think Devontae Adams is going to light it up as well in prime time. And Young Wolf is going to shock the world here and knock Susie to 3-2. All right, everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's previews, and we'll see you next time.